Sometimes, the past doesn't just whisper. It roars back when you least expect it. Imagine being a single father, a war veteran, quietly living life for your daughter, only to be surrounded by 20 roaring motorcycles on a lonely stretch of highway. At first, it feels like a threat. Like trouble coming your way. But what happens next will shock you. Because when their leader stepped forward, her entire world stopped at the sight of a single tattoo on his arm. A tattoo that carried a story of loyalty, sacrifice, and pain. Stay with me till the end. Because this isn't just about motorcycles or war. It's about the kind of bond that reminds us why true courage never dies, even when the world tries to bury it. John Miller wasn't the type to draw attention. After serving years in the Marine Corps, he wanted nothing more than a quiet life with his 10-year-old daughter, Emily. His wife had passed away during childbirth, leaving John to navigate life as both mother and father. He carried the weight of war and fatherhood on his shoulders, but his smile for Emily never faltered. Every weekend, they would take long drives in his old pickup truck, singing along to her favorite songs, creating a rhythm of peace he never thought he'd find again. But one evening, on a winding back road leading home from Emily's dance recital, that peace shattered. The thunder of engines grew behind them, and soon, 20 motorcycles boxed in his truck. Their jackets flashed symbols and flames, their faces hidden under helmets. Emily's small hand clutched his arm, fear rising in her eyes. "Dad, who are they?" she whispered. John's instincts kicked in. He slowed the truck, pulled over, and stepped out, shielding his daughter with his body. The bikers formed a circle, the rumble of engines vibrating through the ground. Then, their leader dismounted. She pulled off her helmet. A woman in her 30s, fierce eyes, jet black hair braided down her back. She walked closer, her gaze sharp, assessing him like a soldier on a battlefield. John didn't flinch. "If you've got something to say, say it. My daughter's watching." But then it happened. Her eyes dropped to his forearm, where the sleeve of his shirt had rolled up, revealing the ink burned into his skin. The Marine Corps tattoo. Not just any tattoo, the exact design only a specific unit wore. Her steps froze. Her expression shattered. She whispered, almost breathless, "No, it can't be you." The other bikers exchanged confused glances, but John stood silent, tension stiff in his frame. He had no idea why a biker gang leader would look at him as though she'd seen a ghost. Her name was Alex Raven Carter. 10 years earlier she wasn't a biker leader. She was a young Marine, stationed overseas in the same war zone John had once fought. She had been saved by a man she never knew the name of. A Marine who carried her out of an ambush when she thought her life was over. She remembered his voice shouting, "Stay with me, Marine." She remembered the tattoo on his forearm when he laid her on the medic's stretcher. That was all. And now, standing on a quiet road, surrounded by her biker sisters, she saw that same tattoo again, on the arm of a single dad protecting his little girl. John blinked as recognition slowly dawned. Her face tugged at his memory. The battlefield. The night of fire and chaos. He had carried countless wounded, but her terrified eyes, her trembling grip on his hand. It came back like lightning. "You were the private in Kandahar," John muttered. Tears filled Raven's eyes, shocking her crew who had never seen her break. She dropped her helmet and stepped closer. "You saved me. You saved my life, and I never even knew your name. And now here you are, raising a daughter alone." For a moment, silence fell over the circle. Emily peeked out from behind her dad, watching this stranger melt into gratitude. Raven turned to her bikers. "This man is a hero. You treat him with respect." The tension broke, engines quieted. The bikers removed their helmets, nodding solemnly at John. What started as a threatening ambush turned into a gathering of honor. Over the next hours, John and Raven talked. He shared about Emily, about losing his wife, about the weight he carried as a single father. Raven shared how, after leaving the corps, she lost her way. Anger. Loneliness, wandering roads until she found family in the biker world. But that night, seeing him again reminded her of the courage and humanity she once fought for. Emily listened quietly, her young heart swelling with pride for her dad. She tugged his sleeve and whispered, "Daddy, you're someone's hero, too." John's throat tightened. He had never wanted glory. He only wanted to protect, to serve, and now to raise his daughter. But hearing it spoken aloud, through the eyes of both his child and the woman whose life he saved, gave him a peace he hadn't felt in years. When the bikers finally roared off into the night, Raven stayed behind a moment longer. She saluted John, tears glistening under the moonlight. "You didn't just save me back then. You saved the part of me I thought was gone. I won't forget this again." And as she rode away, Emily leaned her head on her father's shoulder. "You always told me heroes don't wear capes, Dad. Now I know what you meant." John smiled softly, the tattoo on his arm catching the last glimmer of twilight. The road ahead was still long, still heavy. But for the first time, he knew he wasn't walking it alone. His courage had built bridges he never asked for. But maybe, that was the true legacy of a Marine.